Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Josh, and today we will talk about two iconic pieces of Jurassic Park history: the Stan Winston bronze T-Rex and Velociraptor maquette. Those two boxes are replicas by the company Dino Dreams, and I will unbox them today, show them to you guys, and talk a little bit. About their history. So let's dive straight into it. We will start with the face of the Jurassic Park franchise, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So yeah, here it is guys, the iconic running T-Rex maquette. I gotta say, this piece is probably the most iconic maquette for me. Although the Parasaurolophus is my favorite, this piece is my childhood. If you grew up with Jurassic Park or The Lost World, you probably saw the maquettes printed all over the media, like magazines, books, cornflakes boxes, trading cards and t-shirts. And this beautiful piece was everywhere. There are like two versions you probably know. This would probably be this one and the maquette for the famous Bug T-Rex for The Lost World Jurassic Park. Because not only were these made as bronze maquettes, they were later on reused for the pre-production of The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 as the actual maquettes for the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the movies. But I will dive into that just in a second. The original Tyrannosaurus maquette was sculpted by artist Maquettes, who unfortunately passed away last year. And he was basically the key artist of the Tyrannosaurus in Jurassic Park. Not only for the small maquette, but also for the 1/5 and later on the animatronic. He even carved the initials in the top of the T-Rex head of the animatronic. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. But this piece was made of the 1/16 scale maquette. The original one was in a much more static pose for similarity and also to be used as a stop motion puppet later on. Because as most of you know, before there was CGI, Jurassic Park was originally going to be made in stop motion. So once CGI was there, the maquettes weren't going to be used for the movie anymore. So they just used them as reference and also just used for some test shots supervised by the amazing stop motion legend Phil Tippett. Last year I was lucky enough to see the real Velociraptor stop motion puppets that were used in the famous kitchen test shot scene. This was probably one of the biggest highlights for me as a Jurassic Park fan. Those models even helped the team planning out some lighting and camera movements for the set. As we all know, Jurassic Park became a huge cinema moment. It changed everything. Universal decided to release a limited run of these bronze maquettes. They were made from the original maquettes from the pre-production from Jurassic Park. And Stan Winston artists Jimmy Carmetz and Dave Grasso were both commissioned to resculpt them and give them a little more dynamic pose. While Dave mainly worked on the Velociraptor, Jimmy was responsible for the T-Rex. To build them, they made a plastic cast, cut the joints of the arms and legs, and removed enough to resculpt the missing areas now in a more dynamic pose. The head, neck and tail were cast in silicone with armature inside, to be able to bend them without missing all the details that were already sculpted in there. The bronze maquettes were planned to have a limited run of 500, although I'm pretty sure not all of them were made. The Raptor probably has around 50 copies. The T-Rex appears to be more rare these days. I have only seen like 4 or 5 copies. And I think these were exclusively sold at Universal Studios back in the day. In a more pricey range, because these were made of real bronze back in the day. The replicas of Dino Dreams are only made out of resin, although they are still very heavy and painted really nicely. So I'm absolutely happy that Dino Dreams made these amazing replicas. But not only were they used as the bronze maquettes that were sold. During the pre-production of The Lost World Jurassic Park, they actually used this sculpt for the Bug T-Rex maquette for The Lost World. With a very vibrant green and yellow tone, this maquette is just beautiful. They took the base of this sculpt, resculpted a thicker throat, like we see on the bug in the movie too, actually used a different left arm, in fact of the 1/16 scale maquette from Jurassic Park. And I would say it's a little bit more leaned forward than this piece. There were probably around 3 copies. The hero one, which is the most famous one and we have the most pictures of that one, remains now in Peter Jackson's private collection. There was at least a second one in the studios during the pre-production. You can see John Rosengrant painting one of them and the other one is also there. As far as the third one goes, if there was a third one, I'm not sure where it remains. There are photos of another copy, although this one is a little bit different to the other 2 maquettes. It actually has the scars on the face, which Buck has in the movie. The article I read about it says it was made before the hero maquette and was changed because it was a little bit too green for Steven Spielberg's liking. Although I'm not sure if that's true, since I wouldn't see the reason why they would add the scars on that maquette and would leave it out on the hero maquette. So my personal guessing is that this one was made after the production, or maybe it is the third model. We would probably never know. So not only do I feel the nostalgia of the bronze maquette with it, I'm a huge The Lost World fan. Like, it's my favorite movie of all time, and having the sculpt of one of the maquettes that inspired me to become an artist is very, very meaningful for me, and I'm so happy Dino Dream made these. But not only did it appear in the Lost World pre-production, they actually reused it for the pre-production of Jurassic Park 3 for the male T-Rex again, the one that unfortunately got killed by the Spinosaurus. But it's a beautiful design. It's very similar to the Buck design in a greenish tone with a little less prominent pattern, so to say. For this maquette, they just used this base sculpt. There's no thicker throat, no different arm, no scars. It is literally this sculpture right here. So I would say this is pretty cool. We will continue with our favorite 6-foot turkey, the Velociraptor. Yeah, now we're talking about the Velociraptor. As you can see, this piece is huge. The original sculpt was also made in the pre-production of Jurassic Park by Christopher Swift, and again it had a way more static pose. As I already said, Jimmy Carmitz and Dave Grasso resculpted them to have a way more dynamic pose. As you can see, the tail is much more curved, the arm is bent, it has a walking pose, the head looks to the right. I mean, it's beautiful. That piece is amazing. I love the pose. It is as much iconic to me as is the T-Rex maquette. Again, not only was it used as a bronze maquette, it was also reused for the pre-production of The Lost World. For my absolute favorite raptor design, the male Velociraptor with the tiger stripes. And this maquette was really everywhere. I think this was probably printed the most of all of them. And I always dreamed of having one of them, even as a child. So just having it in front of me and looking at it brings me right back into my childhood. As far as the Velociraptor goes for The Lost World, they just slightly changed it. There wasn't any resculpting, they just changed the right arm back to the original maquette arm from Jurassic Park. And looking at the pictures, it might even be a little bit more bent to the front, but that could just be the angle of the photos. There was a second version which had a head that was a little bit bent more to the front. Not sure where that one came from, but it looks identical to this one. So I guess they just cast a second head, heated it up and brought it into another shape. Maybe just for some diversion in the maquettes, I don't know. I'm not sure if there were 3 versions of this one. I only know of these 2. And I think the Hero maquette in that pose remained a long time in Stan Winston's collection. Because you can even see in later pre-productions of other movies, including Jurassic Park 3, that the maquette was still standing in the studio, which is super cool. Also, like the T-Rex maquette, this was again used for Jurassic Park 3 for both Velociraptor male and female maquette. Although the Jurassic Park 3 maquette was slightly changed at the head because they resculpted the area around the eye to have a little smaller eye like you see in the movie. The female one, although, has the same eye as this maquette. And the female one even had a second version like the male Velociraptor from The Lost World, with a head a little bit more bent down. So having 2 maquettes used for 2 Jurassic Park movies on 5 different dinosaur designs, plus the original bronze designs, is absolutely amazing. Like, this piece is Jurassic history. Unfortunately, they don't make stuff like this anymore in the pre-production. They straight up do the CGI models, or in rare cases a animatronic, but it just doesn't have the soul as the original Stan Winston work, in my opinion. So having both on the table now, I just gotta say, I love them. They will get a very special place in my collection. I'm a big fan of Dino Dreams. They use the original Stan Winston database, scan the maquettes or even some animatronic parts and make the most incredible Jurassic statues you can get. In my opinion, they are the best out there at the moment. There are some other great companies, but in my honest opinion, Dino Dreams is ahead of everyone at the moment. So yeah, that's it for today. Tell me, which one do you like more? Is it the Velociraptor, the T-Rex? Which one of the later versions of the pre-productions from The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3 do you like? Tell me down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more Jurassic history, and I will see you guys in the next one. And don't forget, hold on to your butts.